Us a little bit. What does a GP in Australia do? What does it mean to be a general practitioner, Seshu?
Right. Now, GP in Australia is pivotal and central. Is the first contact for the community, for just about everyone with their health issues and maybe beyond health. Psychosocial, it's the GP who looks after them. And GP is a specialist in Australia. And he is most unique person in the community looking after them. And to be simple, the GP looks after, for one, you have heard that cradle to grave. So they provide all the care and look after. And to be honest, it's the GP who makes that decision about what other specialist care that the patient needs. And the specialist does what they have to do and send them back to the GP to do provide the ongoing care. So it's such an important role that a GP provides in this part of the world.
Yes, and something that might surprise some members of our audience tonight is that general practice is actually considered a specialty in its own right in Australia. We've actually had quite a few questions from people along the lines of, I have a master's in emergency medicine, or I've got a ONG degree, or I'm a surgeon. How can I become a GP in Australia? The thing you need to understand is, to be a GP in Australia, you have to train in general practice, don't you? And so what does being a specialist GP entail, Seshu?
Look, it's absolutely special as a specialty, much more than a lot of other specialties. The GP looks after patients with all sorts of issues in all specialties, the emergencies arising out of different specialties. For example, my initial few weeks, I was faced with patients coming with AF, with an MI, with serious injuries, pregnant women, you name it. And it was a challenge in the beginning, but not as you qualified as a fellow, then you are much more confident to handle all this on your own. So as a specialty, of course, it's absolutely broad in terms of what you do. And talking about what you mentioned just now about the questions that are coming through, GP himself is a specialist, but there are a lot of my colleagues and friends who have come from overseas, who are either a gynecologist, a pediatrician, a physician, and a surgeon. They are GPs, and of course they have trained for the 2-3 years to do the fellowship. But after that, they work as GP with special interests, and they do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of procedural stuff themselves. So yeah.
Yeah, so there is a pathway from another specialty to become a GP. And as Seshu mentioned, you can have special areas of focus, and those special areas of focus are particularly useful in rural and regional areas, aren't they?
That's not always. Definitely, yes, rural, but in the city as well.